I think we are live.
Oh, are we live? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, we are live.
Outstanding. Well, I was checking my messages. So welcome everybody. We are absolutely live right now, and I want to welcome with me Tilen. Tilen, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ahmed?
I'm doing fantastic. So I think this is part two of a pretty important topic, one that we started last week when we started talking about AirSync and how connectors are set up. And that was something that we did with Erasm. And today, Tilen, I think you're going to take us into part two. And part two is all about permissions and the fact that we are syncing permissions. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's
Okay.
a very complex topic, and we'll try to um, speed it over and smooth it over.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just say a couple of things about it that I think matter for this conversation. I've been talking to a lot of prospects, customers, and users, and there's a lot of questions around how it works and how well it works, frankly speaking. And what I'll say is that one of the most important things to understand as we get into this Gen AI world that we're quickly getting into is the fact that AI is incredibly hungry for data. And the fact that it needs data means that we have to have the absolute best strategy for providing not just data, but accompanying that with the access provisions that are necessary to govern the data so that you can actually release this information to the right people at the right time with the right access controls. And of course, nobody in their right mind is going to try to replicate what they have in their primary systems of record, again, in some other systems, right? So we want to make it as seamless and effortless as possible. And that's what we've done by making AirSync not only capable of bringing information and bidirectionally syncing it near real time, but also being able to bring the permissions to go along with the data. So with that, maybe you can share your screen and we can see where you want to get us started here.
Yeah, sure. Um, let's start in the DevRev app. Here we have the home screen, and in the settings panel, we already have some AirSync set up. Here we are syncing a Jira project, and it's we've set up a periodic sync, which means it's periodically pulling data. Once in Jira updates are made, we keep that in sync in DevRev.
And is there a view where you can just kind of show us the information that's being synced over?
Yeah, let's do that. So of course, in Jira, the most important part is there are issues, and or now they are work object or something like that, and we sync those into DevRev issues. And here's the view of all those imported issues. We have some in progress, some in backlog, some done, and we've imported all their priorities or their owners, who's assigned to what issue.
Okay, and this is sort of a pretty, I would say for maybe users who use Kanban or maybe use Jira, this is somewhat of a familiar view. I suspect these cards that we see here, I suspect you can move them around as well, right?
Yeah, you can. You can move a in progress issue to backlog or done, and vice versa. And
Okay.
then if you have a bidirectional sync setup, we'll also sync that in to Jira.
Okay. So now we're seeing what it looks like in our system. What does, like, if I want to see this exact same view in Jira, just to see what like the other side looks like, let's have a look at that if you have that handy.
Yeah, this is the Jira project we've imported, and you can see the setup is very similar. We have the same issues, the same people we've
Yeah.
imported into DevRev.
Outstanding. So I mean, what we're seeing, and maybe you can take us back into that DevRev experience. But what you can see is AirSync. This is, remember, we're not actually creating anything new. We're not assigning anything. We're not replicating anything by hand. Just by setting up the AirSync connector, you have literally created the same exact board view, that Kanban type experience from one system to another, which is pretty special. I mean, just seeing the effects, implemented identically, it almost looks like a mirror copy, which is pretty outstanding. That's AirSync for you. So where do we, maybe we can go back into the Jira and just kind of see what the setup looks like, because here we want to focus on the permissions aspect.
Yeah, that's right. So we have this vendor space, and it's associated with a Jira permission scheme.
Okay.
That's how Jira manages permissions. And we can say this, there's one space associated with this permission scheme, and it's this one. Here you can actually manage a whole lot of permissions. We are mostly want to focus on the browse project permissions, which gives you permission to view actually the issues in Jira.
Yep.
And then you have also create issues, delete issues, edit issues. Those are kind of the main parts that we want to worry about.
Okay. And what you're telling me is that when you set up your AirSync with this Jira space, you're able to not only get the information that we saw in that board, but you're actually also replicating this information here.
That's right. We are automatically importing this the associated permission scheme with the project.
Okay. And so, I mean, you can obviously, I mean, we saw the board view, but you could just demonstrate that, there's probably issues that are in our Jira or our DevRev space now that are synced from Jira. And if you wanted to maybe just search for an issue, for example, and just show that you can open it in a record panel, I imagine that would all work because you have access in this case to these issues.
That's right. So, yeah, so I can see the issue. I can see their fields, search for an issue. Let me see. One was yeah, I mean, the search actually, I mean, if you have a list of issues, that's, well, let's see. Maybe I'm in the wrong move. Okay, yes. But yeah, I mean, the issues we've imported, their subscribers are imported. The permissions makes it so we see all their fields, and we can also edit them.
So can you now, I mean, since you're saying that you can edit, fair. So you can edit it here and it's going to go reflect back into Jira. And we can go back to Jira to see that, but can you also maybe take us back into that permissions scheme page on Jira and actually make a change? And let's see if those issues or maybe a set of issues that you have access to right now, you can change it so that you don't have them accessible anymore.
Yeah, let's try to do that. So if I don't want to see the issues in Jira, I just have to remove myself from the browse project permissions.
Yeah.
So there's also this another group which I'm not a part of. So we can just refresh this Jira page and see. In Jira, I can see them. Sorry.
Yeah, actually, go back to Jira. Yeah, so you're just so I know what the group names are. So what is the group that you were part of and now are not part of?
So previously, I was just assigned me as a special person. I was assigned to this browse project permission for for all issues, and we also import one group which I'm not a part of.
Okay.
So yeah, I just removed myself and see I can't see the board anymore because all of my issues
That's right.
are there.
Yeah. To be specific, you cannot see the board now in Jira. And now the question is, can you see it in DevRev? Because ideally you should not be able to.
Yeah, that's right. So let me go into DevRev.
Okay.
And see. So in DevRev, we can actually just show you the sync. So now you can see we made a change, and it was quickly synced back. You could see a progress bar here.
And you didn't have to like manually do that. It just happened.
No, this is our periodic sync. So we are actually periodically pulling data from Jira, and we are listening to changes. What differences are made.
And you say periodic, but like you literally just made the change, and you're saying it already.
It's near instant. If you can say that.
Yeah, which is funny because now it's actually doing yet another sync. So it's obviously
Yeah.
clearly doing it quite often. But anyhow, it's probably now it's done 2 since the last time you made that change. So if you were to go and try to see if you have access, let's have a look what happens.
Yeah, let's go and just refresh, since of course in Jira we also had to refresh. And if we go to the list view, board view has some, there you go. Just some caching issues, and then if you can see that all issues here are
I see.
are not visible to me. My access was revoked in Jira, and now in DevRev also I can't see them.
Okay. So, I mean, if you actually go into the AirSync mapping, can you show me how this works? Like, what are you exactly syncing, apart from the work itself, that's actually allowing this to be the case?
Yeah, so we've invested a lot of time into this, like perfecting the core functionality. Of course, you have to sync Jira epics, sync Jira issues, so tasks, stories, bugs, and so on. But also the associated users, right? So who is assigned to what issue? So we can kind of create that graph of who owns what and who's assigned to what. And then we go one step further for the permissions part, and we also import the groups associated with those users.
Can you show me where that is? Because you're scrolling, but I don't. Okay, there it is.
Yeah,
Groups.
here we import Jira groups into DevRev groups, their descriptions, their names, and also their the group members are imported, so you know which member is associated with which group.
Got it. Okay, so this is obviously this is all metadata that you're bringing in from Jira. That tells you the specific names and descriptions of the groups, and then of course the membership as well. Are there any other sort of like authorization policies that coincide with the group, so you know what the groups actually suggest?
Yeah, that's right. So the groups are just the start, right? You have to also map the permissions with the groups. So here in the authorization policy, you can see the Jira permissions get translated into simple privileges in DevRev. So create issues in Jira will give you create privileges in DevRev for those imported issues. That just for those. And the same for edit, delete issues, and browse projects, as we saw.
Okay, wonderful. So basically, that's pretty cool. So I mean, like you can actually through this mapping screen, and of course, we had already set up this AirSync, so this had been ongoing. We're still able to see it, and maybe we could change it if we wanted to. But by and large, even if you were setting up the AirSync connector for the first time, you could actually get a mapping screen that actually will show you what data is coming in and also what metadata is coming in, so you can actually just review everything if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. And this is very simple. It's not. It's not. It's something everybody can do. It's I would just one-click process, and we give you all these defaults. And the sync was very fast. Yeah.
Okay, so we reviewed the mappings. We see exactly what the metadata looks like. We also see that all the identities are coming in. So you don't have to go recreate any identities. You don't have to go create roles and groups. Can we actually see those like role sets and groups on our side? Can you show me like those groups as they exist in our system?
Yeah, sure. So there are quite a lot of users we've imported.
Okay.
And they're synced into DevRev. Those are all from Jira. And they are then associated with the groups. So we saw this ECME IT group before in browse projects. And we can see all the users in that group. And I'm not a part of that group, right?
Got it.
Yeah, and then we have the roles, right? And then this is where we associate the groups with permissions on specific.
Can you click on one of these just so we can see what that looks like?
Yeah, so here one is for create permission, for example, in Jira. gives you, for all the bugs, epics, stories, everything you imported, gives you create permissions, and it's assigned to group Jira software users. I think we saw in Jira that was the case. And we can actually find the reads. Yeah, this is the reads permission, for example.
Right.
And it's only assigned to admin IT.
I mean, given the fact that you actually made that change, but it's actually pretty cool to actually see all these roles set up automatically. I mean, you didn't have to go create any of these.
No, this was all automatic, and it was updated as changes were made in Jira.
And it was pretty instantaneous, which I really like. Though, I mean, obviously, you mentioned a little bit about the AirSync connector and the fact that we can do this. People might say, well, what if I'm creating an entirely new connector? First of all, it is quite easy to create new AirSync connectors. Here we're showing Jira, but there could be others, like dozens of systems out there. Obviously, we've got tremendous number on our marketplace and it's growing. But if somebody wanted to create an AirSync connector and they're just wondering, well, how do I do this? How do I set this up and get it right when it comes to permissions and access controls? Can you maybe just walk us through that? Because I don't think we've ever discussed it here.
Yeah, it's an interesting problem, right? The Jira projects, Jira permissions are just one of the permissions we support, like just one external system. And we've actually built a system that allows you to import permissions in any external system. And not just permissions, of course, all other associated data. And it's actually just as simple as cloning this starter template. We have this extensive documentation in our website, and all you have to do is just click use this template, and you have this a Jira or any other external external system you want. You have an instantaneous AirSync connector.
Outstanding. And of course, now you're showing us some documentation. You're showing us our GitHub repo. This is a public repo, obviously. Yeah. So this would maybe be a good time for me to mention that, folks, we will be putting this information on the Discord server. And so if you're not already joining us there, please join us there, and you can ask us questions and ask for references to information that we're sharing here, and we can do that. And of course, all of these things that we're doing demos around, this is all based on some fictitious organizations that we've created. So, there could be hiccups here and there, but it's basically just a setup that we created for the purposes of doing this live stream. So, mind the gap, as it were. Now, I think what's really interesting, what I really like about the fact that we're syncing this information is that if in DevRev, because you might have scenarios where there's people in DevRev that you want to give access to issues to, or to give access to any object to, that didn't necessarily have access in Jira, but you don't want that to go back to Jira. You just want that to be something that happens in DevRev. So as an example, I might want, let's say, my product leaders, or I want my, let's say, sales leads, people who are helping me with demand generation, I want them to see what my issues are. At least for my specific project or for specific parts of my system. If I wanted to do that, I can actually start to diverge, and that's not going to impact anything that's happening on the Jira side. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a simple demonstration. I think we were already in this Acme groups in DevRev. And all you have to do is just click add user, and let's see, for example, the previous presenter, I can just add Erasm here.
Yeah.
And he will then be part of this group. And as I saw, he will get all the associated permissions with this group.
Outstanding. So now Erasm, who previously could not see these issues, can now start to see these issues, because that's what this group, and that's what the role set is that's associated with this group. And so now, by being member of this group, he is now able to actually see these issues. And this is not going to disturb anything that's happening in Jira.
No, it's all separate. Of course, if you add somebody in Jira, we will also pull that in. But if you want to make a change just in DevRev, we also support that.
I love it. So, I mean, what's really nice is that without disrupting anything that's happening in Jira, and while also maintaining the ground truth on what's happening in Jira as changes go on in Jira, if they do, I mean, these are not things that you frequently change, but if people joined or, you wanted to revoke access, what have you, all of that reflects near real time. And here in the DevRev side, you can actually say, listen, I've got a team on the side here that I want to give access to, in this case, issues, but in the, it could be meeting information, it could be engagements, it could be reach outs, it could be incidents, it could be opportunities, it really could be anything, because we have that flexible schema. We can handle pretty much any information that matters to your business. So I kind of like that, man. I mean, this gives us a tremendous amount of flexibility. Now, I mean, we've talked plenty about Jira. Can you maybe show us what this might look like in a different system? Like, I don't know if there's, this is structured data, but what about like unstructured data?
Yeah, here we have a Google Drive sync that we also set up before. It periodically pulls in this.
And you say periodic, but it's happening every minute, it looks like.
Yeah, it's again near real time. We have this Google Drive project I set up, and I have some I think it's 6 documents.
Okay.
And I've imported them with AirSync, and those go into our knowledge base.
Okay, so just let's hold on there. Yeah, you previously showed me 6 documents in Google Docs and G Docs, and what you're showing me is that you've already set up the AirSync. And I guess we could have shown setting up the AirSync because we did it last time. But because we did it last time, we didn't necessarily want to just sit here and show that entire flow again. Not that it takes a lot of time, but we wanted to get to other topics. So long story short, we set up the AirSync the way we described last time. And here we are now in DevRev, and you can see those exact same things as articles that are being synced over from Google.
Yeah, that's right. And there are the same list in DevRev and in Google Docs.
Can you click on one of these? I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's the part is automatically brought in, and then also who the owner of this. There's some tags are made, and that it's also ingested in our computer app, so you can use this knowledge base to answer questions you have within your team.
And more to the point of this session, the fact that you're able to click on this and actually see these documents, these articles here, is because you actually have access, and that's permission syncing. I mean, if you didn't have access to it, then you simply wouldn't see it. So like, as an example, if I'm in this fictitious dev org that you've created for the purpose, if I'm in this fictitious organization you've created for this live stream, I clearly cannot see these articles because I don't have access to these. And you could see that in Google Docs if you actually see who has access. I'm certainly not in that list. So can you actually add me to that list, and would it actually reflect back here?
Yeah, sure. Let's pick a random Google Doc, and in the share field, you can see it's just me for now, and anyone, it's unrestricted access. And we can add you to one of the editors.
Okay.
And then we can go into this Google Docs AirSync, and very soon we will see the periodic pull we have. Here it's extracting and loading, and then let's see.
Is it the one that's going to happen to 524?
Yeah, it will.
Okay, so this is the one.
It's yeah, I think that might be it. Let's see.
What are you trying to show me? Are you trying to show me that I was added on?
Yeah, I mean you unfortunately you aren't in this org, so we can't actually show you.
Honestly, that's somebody who's actually in the org. That would make it more eventful, I guess. Who is in this org? Who are the fictitious people you added?
So I added Erasm. Let's see. Maybe we can add Erasm.
Yeah, why don't we add Erasm and then do it and give it a minute.
Our previous
Although
presenter.
that is a nice test. I mean, you tried to add me, but I'm not even in your organization, so that would have no implication on the sync, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's give that a minute. But is there anything like that's fundamentally more complex about being able to bring these permissions from a system like a Google Docs or any of the G Suite systems versus the types of things you've done with Jira?
Yeah, it's quite a lot different because in Jira, as we saw, you scope the permissions on the whole project. So you have browse project permissions. That means the whole project. So all the associated issues, the avoided bugs or epics. And in Google Docs, how it works is you only have permissions for one specific document, right? You don't really share documents to the whole Google Drive, but
Yeah,
you just want to share it for a specific document, and we want to also support that, and we support the we import the associated article, as we saw previously in the knowledge base. The
yeah.
article is imported, and then we also import the permissions for each of those.
Got it. So now, I mean, it's been like 40 seconds or a minute or whatever it's been. If we had Erasm on the call and he was sharing his screen, you're saying that now he would be able to access that article.
Yeah, that's right. So previously he wouldn't even see it, and if he asked computer what about this help desk ticket
Yep.
categories,
Yep.
it wouldn't answer him. But
Yes.
now he will have permissions, and he
Yep.
will be able to see it and edit
And do you
it
want to go
because
back to that? Do you want to go back to that sort of sync audit and see what that looks like? I mean, I suspect it's either in the 526 or 527 sync.
yeah, it's here. So we have this this file we've updated. So in DevRev we import files to articles.
Yeah.
That's a file in Google Drive, and then an article in DevRev, and we see an update on that article because we updated the permission.
Got it. So that update that you're saying, what you're saying is that reflects the Erasm edition. So that's fantastic. And then of course,
Yeah.
if we had Erasm on this, I guess he's getting a well-needed rest, going back to working on his stuff. But if he were here, he could actually show us that he has access. And if you were to remove him, he would be gone as well. So that's really nice. I appreciate you going through that. So I mean, look, we've seen the unstructured permission syncing. We've seen the structured permission syncing. We took a look at the AirSync template so that people can see how easy it is for them to extend it to create more connectors that also respect permissions. What's sort of next for you? And I know you guys are still working on this, and there's probably quite a bit of work left in this space as we look to the future. Like, what is one thing that you're really excited about as we look to the future?
Yeah, the next thing is especially building upon this granularity of permissions. So we saw that we can give create, read, update, and delete permissions to
Yeah.
issues. And now we want to add support for giving that permission for specific field within an issue. So maybe you have this a very important field you only want some people to see, and we can import that automatically from an external system.
Okay, very nice. So just getting into even finer and finer granularity, this time with field permissions.
Yeah, that's right. And it's all automatic.
Okay, outstanding. And of course, once you have the ability to bring in granular field permissions and sync them, you would have that done in a way that any AirSync connector could take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll add support for anybody, and of course using our template repo, you can start building on that.
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate you going through all of this. I'll just say it once more for folks that are still joining us and with us. Thank you for your time. Please join us on our Discord server, where we can have conversations around this topic or any other topic. And of course, this is not the first of our live streams. We've been doing weekly live streams for quite a while now. And so you can join us on YouTube, where you can get an entire archive of live streams that you can watch and enjoy and learn more about DevRev. So that's all we have for today. Any last comments, Tilen?
No, I think it was a pleasure being in this live stream. It's a very complex problem, and I hope we've shed some light on how we try to tackle this.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you joining me as well. So thank you, Tilen. Thanks for setting up this demo environment so we could show everybody how it works. And thanks everybody for joining us. Until next time, take care. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
See you.